Hello, I'm Lowell Martin, and this is MCC Today. There are no innocent bystanders. On today's show, we have Jim Miles, James Green, and Jocelyn McGilberry. You're going to want to watch this because you will learn a lot.
Thank you to the teachers for encouraging me when I wasn't sure where to start, for seeing my potential even when I didn't, for inspiring me to reach farther and try harder.
Thank you, MCC. You helped me change my future.
Find your wings at MCC.
And we are here with Mr. Jim Miles. How are you doing today?
Fine. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Now, you were in charge of the electrical program here at Meridian Community College, right?
Yes, sir.
And you said before you were telling me you've been doing this for 12 years.
Yes, sir. This will be my 12th year teaching.
Oh, my goodness. And so did you teach before you took over this program, if you don't mind me asking?
No, sir. I just kind of looked up on it. I was working in the maintenance shop here at the college at the time, and my old instructor, Jerry Humphreys, was fixing to retire.
I remember, yeah.
So he recommended me to take over, and I taught just for kind of like substitute teachers for him for a little while, and it worked out, and they liked what I done, and I kind of liked it, so I moved from the maintenance shop over here to teaching.
Okay.
And I've been here for 12 years.
So obviously you're enjoying it, or you enjoying most of it.
Yes, most of it. Most of it. It has its good days and its bad days, but it's rewarding at the end of the day.
You know, I tell my kids all the time, if you can find a job where it's mostly okay,
right?
It's mostly good, you know, because you're never going to have it 100% anything. But if you have more good days than bad days,
right?
I think that's worth it. Now, how many students do you accept into the electrical program?
We accept
is it the electrical program?
It's called electrical technology.
Electrical technology.
Some people call it elect tech or electrical tech or anything like that, or the electrical program, either one. We only admit in August in the fall.
Okay.
Because I run a one-year program. It goes from August till May, and we'll let anywhere from 15 to 18 students in at a time.
Okay. And in that time period, y'all do a heck of a lot.
Oh yes, sir. I like to tell everybody it's probably 90% hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
We do spend classroom time. We do have time in the classroom, but not very much.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our work is going to be out in the shop.
Which is good.
Yeah.
You give them that hands-on experience.
Well, there's no way to learn our trade by reading a book.
Right.
You know, you have to have the book to help you along, but it's all hands-on because we're working with our hands and our back and our head. You know, it's just hard work is what an electrician does when he comes out of there.
Does a student have to have taken any prerequisites to get into your program?
No, sir. No prerequisites. The only prerequisite is a 16 on the ACT.
Okay.
If they hadn't taken the ACT, they can contact Miss Deborah Nettles and take the acupressure exam.
I love Miss Deborah Nettles.
Oh, she is awesome.
Person.
She is awesome.
But now they have to have graduated high school or high school equivalents.
Yes, sir.
Right?
High school or GED, either one.
And then a 16 composite.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do you have, if you were trying to recruit students, you know, and you've got somebody who's watching TV and they're like, you know, how can you promote your program? What kind of people are you looking for?
I'm looking for students, male or female. We take female too, and I've had female students in the past, and they do really good.
Good.
They can't really do. I don't expect the female to do as much as what the male does, but our females in the class, they do hold their own. Okay. You know, they're right there tit for tat with the male students. But what I'm looking for is somebody who, I guess in better words, likes to piddle around the house. If that makes any sense. Like to tinker on stuff, is good with their hands. If you're good with your hands and you want to use your hands all the time, this will be a really good program for you to get into. But it's just a lot of manual labor. We have some automation, but not much. My program it drives toward the construction part of the electrical field. Okay. Anytime you drive by a construction site or a new building or anything getting built, you see electricians out there, that's what we do. We provide the power for the building.
So is there a lot of thinking on your feet and maybe troubleshooting?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It's troubleshooting 24/7, if that's what you want to say. Everything, you're going to run into problems constantly, and you're going to have to figure out how to get yourself out of a bind when you get in a bind, or you have to look ahead all the time. You can't just, we're not teaching the kid just to do one thing, you know, put like a round peg in a round hole. We're not doing that. We're showing them, all right, you're going to get to this step, then after this step, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? Because when we get there, there's nothing there, it's just a slab, what we call a slab, just a concrete. How are you going to get a complete project on day one?
Right.
So you start right here and you have to see the complete project at the end, whether it's going to take you 6 months to do it, a year to do it. Sometimes it might be 2 or 3 years before that project's finished. So you're always mapping yourself out from day to day.
Wow. Now, when you've got it's a year program,
Yes, sir.
and
1
they
year.
get a certification.
We offer a 1 year certificate.
1
Yes,
year
a certificate program.
Okay, and so are there many job opportunities out there?
The job market has exploded right now.
Okay.
If I had 50 students right now, I could put 50 of them to work today.
Okay.
People have frowned on the construction industry for a long time, but now they finally figured out they need the construction industry because
yes.
without us, we wouldn't be here in the studio right now.
Yes.
But any trade that you go in, especially electrical trade right now, is busting at the seams. They're begging for people, and it's not here locally.
Right.
I could place them statewide. I could place them in Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, anywhere they want to go. So if a student is willing to leave home and wants to travel, I've got contacts all over outside of Mississippi also.
How is the money?
The money is fair to start with.
Okay.
That
Depends
might
on
be one
experience
of our
or-
drawbacks
Okay.
compared to some programs.
Okay.
Some programs are offering $28, $29 an hour. To be an electrician, what I like to tell our students, you know just enough to be dangerous. That's all I have showed you, just enough to be dangerous. You have to actually enter into what we call an apprenticeship program.
Okay.
You leave my program, you enter into the apprenticeship program, work another 3 to 5 years as an apprentice. You move up every year, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. When you get through your apprenticeship program, now you're labeled a journeyman electrician. Now the sky is wide open.
Okay.
You can do anything in the world. When you make journeyman electrician, you're it. That's as high as you're going to go. So
Now-
you can do anything in the world you want to do as far as electrical work's concerned.
So going into, to be a journeyman or to go through those steps, do you have to go to a particular industry, a particular company, or do you go to another school for that?
No, it's not another school. It's just the contractor you go to.
Okay.
They'll offer another program like a school, but it'll be at night.
Okay.
You work during the day and go to class one night a week.
Okay.
And you get your book work one night a week, and then you get all your OJT, your on-the-job training, out on the job site, 40, 50, or 60 hours a week.
Is there
Now, going back to our pay, I kind of skipped that.
Yeah.
You're looking anywhere from about $14 to $18 an hour starting out,
Okay.
which is decent money.
Okay.
A journeyman electrician in the Meridian area right now is making anywhere from $30 to $32 an hour. So it
my.
progresses a lot.
Okay.
Within 3 years, you can go from $15 to $30-something.
Is there a test involved with being a journeyman?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It depends on what contractor you're working for.
Okay. Okay. So if there's somebody who's interested in your program, how do they get more information about it?
They can. I'm located at the Workforce Development Center down the hill from the college. They can come down there and ask for me. I'm there all the time from Monday through Thursday. We're there. If they can't find me there, they can contact Miss Deborah Nettles. Miss Deborah Nettles, she knows everything about our program.
She does.
If not, they can shoot me an email or give me a phone call.
And what is your email address?
My email is jmiles@meridiancc.edu.
And your phone number?
601-484-8775.
Listen, I want to thank you for being with us today.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, and I want to have you back on.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
Since 1996, the MCC Foundation Tuition Guarantee Program has provided students an opportunity to find their potential. Thousands of students have benefited from the program. Over $6 million have been invested in the students who learn and live right here in our community. This program is funded by individuals and businesses who believe in our students, our families, and the economic impact of an education at Meridian Community College. Now is your chance to offer support. Give today at meridiancc.edu/give.
And we are here today with Coach McGilberry. McGilberry, I always say that, I mispronounce that every time.
That's
How are
okay.
you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Now you are in charge of our women's basketball
Correct.
team and our wonderful student athletes. How's everything going?
Everything's going good. We actually opened up our season today.
I'm sure they're excited.
Very excited.
And you're excited.
I'm excited. I'm ready to get them on the court. I'm sick of looking at them at practice.
Well, you know, so many people, they'll see something and they don't see all the work that went into it.
Right.
To get you there.
Absolutely.
So what kind of work went into getting them there?
Well, actually,
what kind of stuff are they having to do every day?
every day is conditioning, keeping in shape, because we as females, we get out of shape in 3-4 days if we miss. So
Well, I don't think it's just females, but okay.
but we got to keep in shape, and it's just consistency of what we expect of the kids. If it's, we want them to be a great defensive team, we work on defense every day. We want to be a great shooting team, we get those shots up every day. So some things that makes a team is it has to be consistent. As anything in life that you want to do, you got to work hard at it and do good with it.
Do you now? So much, and I know that you do the practice, and that's you're consistent with that. But it also has to do with mindset and attitude. How do you get that across to these wonderful young ladies?
These wonderful young ladies. That's with all the kids. That's transitioning from high school to the collegiate level. Their mind's still stuck in high school level. They got to learn time management, and they have no clue of time management when they get to the college. So we have to implement time management. Set your schedule, practice, dinner. It's an everyday thing. And attitude-wise, of course, they get by with a lot in high school, but in college it's different. It's a job. And when they come to my practice, I say, okay, it's time to go to work. You have 2 hours of work today. And I'm the boss. So we're going to get this done. And hey, it's just like a job. And I told them, come in with attitude of, because you can get fired anytime.
Anytime.
And so just come in just like you working. Hey, we're paying for a roof over your head. We're paying for food to go in your mouth. We're paying for your education. You don't get it free. You're working for it. And these 2 hours is your work days.
Now, they are student athletes.
They
and
are.
The student portion
Absolutely.
is extremely important. So how do you emphasize that part to them?
If they can't come here with the attitude of academics, number one, I don't bring them. Because, like you said, you're a student first before you become an athlete. You cannot be an athlete unless you get your grades. And so they know that. And some of them will test you and see if they can get by with some things, but of course it comes back and bite them in the butt. Either you're kicked out of school because of academics, or you running for missing classes. But I am hard-nosed on them academically, because that's why you're here. You're not here to play basketball. You're here to get education. And
I know that you're sending them to the Success Center for
Absolutely.
their study halls, and I think I want to say, how many hours do you require? Is it 3 hours? 4?
3 hours with you guys,
okay.
But I get them about 3 hours as well. So we get to 6 to 8 hours a week.
Okay, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, you can get all of your work done right here,
Absolutely.
where people are here to help you, and many of them do. You have the few.
And waits till that Friday come and try to come and get them all in one day.
Yes, or I will go by and I was like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm gonna study when I get back to my room. And I said, but you could finish it here. You could get this done right now. Why don't you do it? And I asked a young lady yesterday, I said, what are you planning to do? What do you plan to be? What are you gonna do? And don't you think this is important?
Absolutely.
We had a really good conversation about that. But now, when you're recruiting students, and I know that that's a process, what do you look for?
Again, I go straight into the counselor's office to check grades academically, to make sure that they're on the right track, that they are reaching the goals that they need to reach to be a graduate from high school. Then, I start evaluating them off the court. First of all, you're going to see them on the court and you say, okay, this is a kid that I want to recruit. But, you don't let that kid know until you do your homework. So I go and do my homework and talk to counselors and everything and see what type of kid this is. Then I make a decision. This is a kid that's going to make a difference in my program.
Okay.
I have brought kids in and gave kids chances that I knew couldn't help me or make a difference. But then again, you look at a kid and say, give her an opportunity. See if you can change her life here. And it has worked out for me.
Isn't it wonderful
It
when that
is.
happens?
It
when
is.
When you're not surprised, but you're like, okay, I'm taking a chance on this.
Yes.
And then when it works out,
Right.
it's just absolutely amazing.
It's amazing.
Well, if a student might be interested in coming here and playing for you, how do they get your attention?
Well, a lot of times if I don't see them in the circuit out there of the high school games and stuff, and if they just want to come in, we do have tryouts.
Okay.
Once and sometimes twice a year.
Okay.
That we'll send out to all the high school coaches in the state of Mississippi, a few Alabama schools. You know, if you have any kids want to try out, here's the date. And of course, you know, they'll come in and try out, and that's where we see them at. But otherwise, if a kid just walk up to me and say, hey, coach, I can play for your program, this, I have nothing for them.
Right.
At that point in time.
Right.
Because we're in the process of starting our season.
Okay.
But I have had one to come up during school, the beginning of school, and I just told her, hey, come to practice and get up and down the court with us a little bit and let me see what you got.
Okay.
So I still try not to turn too many kids away, but if it's good timing, I'll bring them in.
Typically, about how many freshmen do you bring in every year?
It's according how many I graduate out.
Okay.
Since the COVID year, you know, we had to keep a few kids.
Right.
Give them that COVID year, and this year I brought in 5.
Okay, okay. And then you have, and how big is it? I know nothing about, you know, I told you before, I know nothing about sports. You can just look at me and tell I'm not athletic. But about how big is the team? About how many young ladies do you have?
I try to bring in 13.
Okay.
If I bring in 15, then you'll have a problem with kids saying, I'm not getting any playing time, you know, what could
Right.
I do to, and I try to eliminate that headache.
Okay.
So I try to keep it at that 13 mark in case, you know, something happens where it drops down to 12, like I had a kid that tore ACL in our first scrimmage game.
Oh,
One of
no.
my best post players. So she's out for the season. And now, you know, I'm down to that 12 number.
Sure.
But you have to look at that whole area to know, okay, how many you want to bring in this year, you know. Academically, is this kid going to pass those 12 hours before Christmas to be able to play in January? So you kind of look at the whole picture to determine, you know, how many you want to bring in, and if you have kids that you know that's going to struggle and might not make it, you might have to bring in 15 kids. But you definitely want to have at least 12 to 13 kids on your roster.
Okay. Well, listen, Coach, I want to thank you for coming
You're
in and
welcome.
talking to us today.
You're
and I
welcome.
want to have you on again. And
Awesome.
let's see how the season went, okay?
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
Not essential. Never let anyone tell you that again. Never doubt your abilities to make a difference. How do I know this about you? Because I'm a teacher. I am the one who will push you harder and farther than you could have ever imagined. Teach you things that you never thought possible. And if you will give me 100%, then I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and together we will change your future. MCC, find your wings.
And we are here with Coach Green today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm glad you're here. Now, you are the coach, the head coach of our basketball team, our men's basketball team.
That is correct.
And you have been doing that for how long now?
Here?
Yes.
I think this is our 6th year, going
Okay.
into the 6th year.
Okay. How's everything going?
Well, it's hard to say this time of year until you start playing games. As a coach, do you really know how things are going? But, you know, all in all, I think it's going well. We've had some injuries. We have some people out. So it's going to take us a little while to find that chemistry. And
Yeah, I noticed one of the students come in, I think it was yesterday or day before, in a boot. You know, was
we
wearing
have
a boot, and I
several
was like,
in boots, one in an arm splint.
Oh, no.
You know, more than we would like to have at this point. But, you know, in some ways, if you're going to have some of those problems, having them early sometimes gives you a little bit better chance if you can avoid them from coming back in the middle and the end of your season.
Okay. Well, now, how do you get these young men ready for the season?
Well, we start out with our conditioning, and a lot
Is that
of
a daily
It's
conditioning?
pretty much a daily conditioning. We're lifting weights, We're doing individual workouts where we're working on skill work, which is very important at this level because some guys can dribble better than others, some guys shoot better than others, but we want them to work on what they're good at, but also work on the things that they need improvement. And so we do a lot of that. We let them have free play early in the year. You don't want to give them too much because of burnout.
Sure.
But at the same time, you want, when we start our official practice, for them to be able to successfully go through that practice from a physical and mental standpoint.
Well, now, how many young men are on the basketball team, or approximately?
Well, we have about 19 guys right now. You can have a 15 roster squad. We're able to give out 15 scholarships, but you also can have a practice group.
Okay.
So in the past years, we've maximized that. When I first came here, we had problems with numbers. So we tend to start with a lot of guys. Sometimes that's a headache because some guys won't get the number of reps that you'd like for them to have. But all in all, I think it's been good for us because a lot of the guys are, they're very similar. And it takes a little while for us to evaluate which ones would help us the most in terms of playing in the games.
Well, now, not being sexist or anything, but I was just talking to the coach of the women's basketball team,
right?
And being head of the Success Center, where they come for their study hall, I'm just going to say
girls are always better than me.
Oh my gosh!
That's been for all the years. That's been since I was a player too.
Oh my gosh! I walk around all the time in the Success Center, and I'm joking with them, but I'm not joking with them. And I'm like, okay, look, what are you doing? And they'll, I've had them say, well, I'm waiting. I'm going to do my homework later, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why not do it here? Why not do it now? How do you stay on top of these young men to keep the grades up?
It's very difficult.
Because I had one young man tell me that he was going to play basketball.
Yeah. And
I'm like, that's wonderful.
Unfortunately, we have trouble getting some guys to understand that you're only going to play basketball for so long, no matter how good you are.
Yes.
And some of you won't play past Meridian. And so it's more important for your life that you take care of your academics. We try to teach them that if you take care of your academics will take care of you. So it's a task, and some are better than others. And I spent a lot of time at the Division I level, and sometimes you have the same problems there that you have at the community college, but you have more that are maybe a little bit behind academically, a little bit behind basketball-wise. So keeping them motivated and having them have an outlook to understand that that ball is going to stop bouncing. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to have to be able to provide. And if I want some of the better things in life, it's through academics.
That's actually what I said. I was like, look, okay, even if you're going to be very famous and, well, don't you want to be able to write a coherent sentence or, know the basics of math when you can, so that when you take all that money to the bank, you can add and subtract it well.
Yeah, we all took all that money to the bank as players.
When you're recruiting these young men, what do you look for?
Well, we obviously look for character.
Okay.
A lot of times the character and toughness can separate a player, but obviously we want the best players that we can get. And it depends on the makeup of your team, guys returning, whether you need guys with size, whether you need better ball handlers. You always need guys that can make shots. So we try to find guys with the skill to be able to make a basket, and then sometimes we try to teach them some of the other things.
Okay. Now, if someone is trying to get your attention so they can come here and play basketball, how could they go about doing that? Can they go about doing that?
Well, absolutely. They can email us. They can give us a call. We get tons of emails. They can send a film where we can watch them online, and if we're intrigued enough, we'll invite them to campus. We also have tryouts, and if they're at a high school, have your coach call. Because that's the best reference you can get. I tell them coaches are much better at a reference call than your mom.
Do you have you had many of these students, athletes? Have you had many surprises? You know, that you brought them in and you're like, I'm going to take a chance on this person, or I'm going to, and they've surprised you, hopefully in a good way, but you've had some.
Well, we have had that, and but we've had surprises in both directions from time to time.
Yes,
but,
you have that too.
Because you know, doing the recruiting, you can't find out everything you need to know, and you may watch a game and they're great in that game, but not consistently that way. But we've had lots of guys here that have come in and worked and made themselves better players. So we occasionally get that. So we try to give everybody an opportunity.
Good. Now we have a lot of students, they all come for their study hall, but one of the things that I just get such a kick out of is they never keep track of their time. And they always come to me and they're like, can you tell me how long I've been here? Can you tell me how long I've got? And I'm like, could you not at least try to keep some, it's just, I find it very funny.
Hey, stay as long to get done what you need to get done, and don't worry about that time.
There you go.
You're probably not going to be late for something else at that time of the day that they're coming in there. So
that's true.
We'll help enforce that now. It takes a lot of work to do it, but we appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I thoroughly enjoy them. Like I say, I get such a kick out of them. I told a young man yesterday, he was writing a paper, and I'm like, you are making up words.
Right.
you are making up words, and he was just laughing. But listen, I want to thank you for being here today, and I want to have you back after the season, and let's talk some more, okay?
Good deal. Good to be here.
We'll be right back.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
On behalf of executive producers Tanisha Clark and Matt Milner, media specialist Josh Taylor, and student producer Terrence Parker, who talks a lot, thank you for watching. We hope you learned something. See you next week.